Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, besties. It's me, Waddles. This humble little biome right here, the jungle, you take it in one final time because, bang, this is Jungle 2.0. In one of the biggest surprise moves of all time, Mojang just went ahead and updated just about every single biome in their little game. And this could play in perfectly to all of the stuff we've been talking about lately. Smack that like button like it's something smackable, and let's dive in. It's kind of funny, after such a banger week with this big video, and just, yeah, in general, so much going on, I wasn't really going to plan on covering this preview, but surprise, surprise. First up, trial mode, this little thing that we've been talking about in some interesting leaks that were found about this thing. Well, it's gotten a couple new updates inside of this update. This takes us back to and plays into some of the stuff we've been talking about recently. Recently, I guess it's been a couple of months. That's crazy how time flies. New art for trial mode. These images were found inside of one of the previews way back in October and relates to the potential relaunch or maybe just in general redesign of a trial mode or free version of Minecraft. But me and you are like, it's not that interesting to us, right? Because of course, you and I both, we have a Minecraft and not some cracked version of Minecraft from 2012 that our older brother helped us set up, right? Right? You're definitely right. Biomes. The entire overworld after this next update hits is going to be changed forever in huge ways. Now, this surprise biome overhaul, the list of the changes inside of the changelog here, I mean, it's absolutely massive. It goes on and on. Of course, there's probably only one best way to check out some of these gigantic biome changes, and that's with a clean side-by-side. So here, for this bit, I've gone ahead and found myself a world seed with some interesting biome diversity. If you're curious about the seed, I'll throw it in the description below for you. Right to now, current today, Minecraft 1.21.50, the creaking update. Inside of this seed, if I stand around over here at world spawn in this world, we've got a gigantic jungle biome. Interesting to take note of here, inside of that jungle biome, we have not one, but two structures right at spawn too. We've got a jungle temple and a ruined portal. All of these biome overhaul changes, not a single one of them right now will affect how any structures generate. But a bird's eye view. First up, we've got the sparse jungle biome. In sparse, you see where the name comes from. It's looking very sparse. The bushes are pretty small. There's not very much grass going on at all. Over here, the jungle, I mean, yeah, it's a jungle, but it's definitely not very dense. With how the trees are spaced out, I mean, this is a pretty relatively bright biome. In fact, on Java, because of the dense trees, this biome is actually pretty dangerous. Haha, well, bam, instant upgrade the sparse jungle. I mean, yeah, definitely sparse still, but look at all of that grass. That's insane. You don't even need the side-by-side to see how much different the grass is, and the bushes that pop up all over this biome, I mean, they're way larger now. Meanwhile, the jungle, oh no, the jungle, good luck. I mean, look, jumping down into the thick of it here on ground, just because of how mob spawning works, the trees being a whole lot more dense leads to a lot more dark patches inside of the jungle, which will absolutely lead to even more mob spawning in this jungle biome than ever before. This is going to be way more dangerous. Our specific jungle changelog changes here, the trees, they're way more dense if you couldn't tell. The big giant jungle trees, they're way more frequent. The bushes, or in other words, 1 block tall trees that generate across the jungle, well, they're a whole lot more thick now, and melons. Mojang has made their melons larger. Oh, but this seed, I picked it for a very specific reason, because check this out. As we move from the old version of the jungle, 1.21.50 current update, next up, we've got a bamboo jungle. As we can tell here, there's a whole lot of bamboo, but at the same time, at least if you're familiar with the Java version of this biome, I mean, this is way easier to navigate. But free and easy to navigate, no longer, because the bamboo jungle, I mean, take a look at it. Starting with the proper trees inside of the bamboo jungle, they're now going to pop up a little bit more. It's really, really easy to tell here. It's like clear as day, at least to me, because moving around, those big trees were never there before. Now, the bamboo itself, this proper item, the sizing of this thing has been adjusted too. Bamboo sizing, like the width of the thing, it's going to be consistent from the bottom all the way up to the top of the plant. That'll actually include all of the bamboo in your world, like when you plant it down and grow it even back inside of your farm. With the bamboo being consistent sizes and also denser inside of this biome, I mean, you could definitely still navigate it, but it's a whole lot more difficult to know. Now, just like in its jungle cousins, the sparse jungle, the normal jungle, the bushes are going to be a little bit larger too, and the other trees are a little bit more dense as well. One huge removal from maybe my favorite jungle biome, the sparse jungle biome, is bamboo. And no longer will you find any bamboo generating inside of the sparse jungle biome. If you want to find this stuff, you gotta find the real deal jungle, or of course, the bamboo jungle. Now this world seed right here, I picked it for a pretty solid reason, because backtracking our way across the jungle past the structures, off in the distant hazy horizon, we'll find a mangrove swamp biome. From the sky here, the mangrove swamp biome, I mean, immediately, you'll be able to see the changes once I point them out, but the huge one is really experienced here down on the ground. Moving around here inside of the mangrove swamp biome on Bedrock Edition, from time to time, you can find some, well, pretty significant clearings in here. Like, I didn't take out any trees at all. It's just like a big open spot for like a mangrove swamp village or maybe a house, a base, something like it. Additionally, inside of the mangrove swamp biome, from time to time, there will be a river, and when you sail around in these rivers, I mean, you'll have lily pads and swamp pads, but they're not really all that common at all. You can pretty much sail through here without destructing a single piece of the environment. On one hand, it may be nice. On the other hand, well, it's not like Java. Here we are, the sky of the new version of the mangrove swamp biome. I mean, look, they said they made the trees more dense, and yeah, a little bit more dense. Like, the clearing that was clear is still pretty clear, but a little bit less clear than before clear. But I mean, still, compared to the Java version of the mangrove swamp biome, I feel like it's a little bit more open still. Either way, though, the change here, the trees, they're a little bit more dense. From time to time, you'll find water inside of this biome. When you find the water, the trees will now be able to generate over it sometimes, and then the lily pad, I mean, this one is actually instantly noticeable. You can see the lily pads are way more frequent inside of the water. Side note, I think this seed right here has maybe one of the largest mangrove swamp biomes I have ever seen. It's gigantic. Now, moving on from that version of the swamp to its original older cousin, the classic swamp. Inside of the classic swamp biome, these swamp oak trees are going to be a little bit more frequent and packed in. According to the changelog, these swamp oak trees will also no longer generate in direct contact with the ground. What I believe that change is translating to, at least from all the swamps I've explored, is these trees, they are like slightly taller now. Even if that is just one block, it's a little bit taller. And then ironically enough, the blue orchid flower, one of my favorite Minecraft flowers of all time, well, there's none here. There's also not very much land here in this swamp or the one over there, but the blue orchids are more common too. And just like how it went down in the mangrove swamp, the lily pads are a little bit more common too. Now, inside of our seed, heading back over to world spawn, relatively close to spawn point, we'll be able to find the next biome I'd like to stop at, the savanna biome. Now, our change with this biome is going to be immediately noticeable. And from the sky here, taking a look at all the trees, the grass coloring, whatever. It's the grass amounts. I mean, actually, no changes were made at all to any of the tree growth inside of the savanna biome. All of the action here, it happens with the grass patches. Our small savanna grass patches, meaning like the grass that is 1 block tall, or sometimes a little bit less. Well, yeah, the small patches are going to be way more frequent. Meanwhile, the large grass patches, I mean, they'll happen still. Clearly, you can find some, but they're just going to happen way less. However, when they do happen, they'll be a little bit larger. Now, the next biomes I want to check out, they're called the old growth spruce taiga and pine taiga, but funnily enough, inside of the Bedrock code here, they're actually just like, well, they're actually not to call that. Instead, I think we're looking for the redwood taiga and the mega taiga. Oh my god, I haven't heard that name in years. These biomes right here are personally some of my favorite biomes in the entire game, and not only are the dogs absolutely perfect inside of this thing, but the generation of it, it's so unique and cool. So these two biomes, they're gonna have a very similar changes going on here. This version of the biome right now is how it is currently and how it's been for years on years. The new version of this biome, ferns, they're way more. Mushrooms, they're way more common too, and actually a brand new addition to this biome. It seems to be relatively uncommon here, but sweet berry bushes. From time to time, beneath the floating trees, occasionally across this biome, you should be, oh my god, they're all floating. If you're lucky, somewhere nestled beneath the tips of the giant redwoods and mega pines, you'll be able to find a little bit of the sweetest berries. But I'm not gonna lie to you, if you're looking for the sweet berry bushes, there's a much better, far superior biome to check out. That biome, and the next one on our stop today, the classic plain old taiga. Across this biome, the small and large ferns are gonna be a little bit more common, and sweet berry bushes, the patches of them, whenever they do generate, they're going to be much larger now. Like, I mean, take a look at how large this chunk of the bushes is. The fox is in absolute heaven right here with how many bushes are going on. It's got a whole setup. Now, so far today, we've been taking a look at a whole lot of biomes with a whole lot of plants. Now, how about the biomes without the plants? Believe it or not, there's actually been some changes to the deserts and the badlands biome as well. For one, you'll be able to now find mystically across these biomes signs occasionally placed down, and they'll always be pale oak signs, it seems, and they always consistently have a message that if you want to, you could use glow ink on it. It says subscribe to Waddles every time, which, I mean, hey, not gonna lie, Mojang, nice of you to plug my channel, but man, that's a little bit hard of a plug, like every time in the badlands and the desert. Take into account the fact that they've increased the amount of dead bushes in the badlands and the desert as well, and I mean, those two changes are gonna make the desert and badlands feel absolutely overpopulated. It's crazy. From one desert to another, and in a sense, I suppose, the ocean biome. The kelp patches inside of the ocean. And this one is going to apply to many different ocean biomes, but not the cold one. Well, the patches of kelp that you're going to find here are going to be a little bit more dense, which I believe is going to make the ocean way, way more dangerous. With that increased drown spawning that you have on Bedrock, oh, good luck. I won't be checking it out. And one of the rarest biomes in the entire game, the mushroom fields biome. I mean, this one's kind of small, I'll admit it, but it's about the patches of mushroom. Mojang has done it. One of the rarest biomes, a biome that I feel is often forgotten about. Well, they didn't forget. The mushrooms that generate inside of this biome are going to generate in larger patches now. I wonder if they'll ever be able to fix the grass that generates here on Bedrock, but doesn't on Java. So far today, our biome update, it's all over the world. We started with one of the most notable changes, the jungle biome. But this next one, this is so different. The meadow biome. First things first, I want to drop into the old version of the meadow biome. You find a meadow biome, one of the most peaceful biomes of all time, inside of the creeking update, and it's going to look something like this. You've got a lot of flowers all over the place and not very much grass at all. If you were to get a bird's eye view of this biome, maybe from your elytra, well, I mean, it's colors, and even more colors. It's kind of beautiful, unless you have, like, allergies and you're in the springtime or something. Beautiful. Now, if you've been watching this whole video the entire time standing up, please take a seat because, wow, the meadow biome right here, this is so different. Gone is the absolute flower overload. And hello, here is a lot more grass. We're talking short grass and the tall grass all over the biome. And the flower patches, I mean, you'll be able to find the same types of flowers here, but the patches of those flowers, they're going to be way smaller. Instead of overpowering the entire biome with flowers like the Flower Forest 2.0 or something, I mean, you have grass now. Flowers, speaking of them, a biome that I almost didn't even recognize on Minecraft Bedrock Edition. This is so different. The Flower Forest biome. You move around in this biome for a second, and I mean, yeah, you can see why the biome has its name. There's a lot of flowers all over the place. A forest, I mean, yeah, kind of, maybe, but it's like super sparse, at least right now. Okay, this biome might be the biome with the single largest transformation. The new Flower Forest 2.0. I mean, look at that thing. This right here is the same Flower Forest as the one we were just looking at a second ago. And I mean, look at how much it's changed. It's like a real deal forest now. The trees are way more dense, and the flowers, they're going to generate a little bit more cohesively now. And just running around in this version of the Flower Forest is so much more beautiful. Like, actually adding all of the trees into here, making it a little bit less like you could stand in one spot and see forever. And it's just feels so much more cozy. Right next to the Flower Forest biome, I found the Sunflower Plains biome. This is the new version of it. Inside of the Sunflower Plains biome, sunflower patches will generate a little bit more cohesively. But now, and I've intentionally saved this one for the final biome for us to check out today. Moving from the Sunflower Plains over into the most classic, plain Minecraft biome of all time, the Plains biome. Now I'm going to go ahead and try and get these shots almost identically. First, we're kicking things off with 1.21.50. Inside of this plains biome right here, we could see as we approach it, not very much grass, absolutely no pumpkins at all, and I mean, yeah, other than that, it's pretty plain. Jumping ahead to the new version of the plains biome and grass, it's way more popping off. Pumpkins, they're pumpkined all over the place. And I mean, sure, it's still pretty plain, but this version with the more grass all over the grass, it helps break up the grass and make the grass look a little bit less plain. Inside of this biome, when you find a flower patch, which will happen a little bit more often now because they're more frequent, well, they'll be a little bit more diverse and larger too. And these pumpkins, not only inside of the plains biome, but actually across every single overworld biome in which pumpkins will be able to generate, well, when they generate, their patches will be a little bit larger now. Another overworld change here has to do with dandelions and poppies. When these things generate in patches, well, they're now going to actually alternate, and that'll apply for every biome in the overworld. And last but not least, sugarcane, which interestingly enough, I think I maybe just have bad luck, but I'm having a really hard time finding very much sugarcane at all inside of this new update. When sugarcane does generate, though, it will no longer replace other blocks. Whew! And so, the overworld overhaul, I mean, wow. As a Java main here, jumping on Bedrock in this new update and running around looking at the biomes, it's actually insane how similar this now looks to Java Edition. Like, you could almost just be tricked and fooled. Maybe the movement was a little bit different and some mobs look slightly different, that you were just on a Minecraft to Java Edition. I feel like I always say things are pretty big, but genuinely this time, this is one of the largest parody updates of all time, and I think could play into that whole seasons business quite perfectly. Seasons. It's an interesting little thing that we've been talking a little bit about. Recently, we checked out how it might be thanks to a data pack from a developer themselves. Well, look, at least how I see it, if we want to add seasons to the game, then every single biome needs to probably start in a relatively similar spot. And now, after this update, relatively similar spot, I mean, they're nearly identical. Of course, if let's say a fall season were to change the foliage across all of the biomes, you would, of course, want to have similar amounts of foliage, and yeah, that's where we're at. All of these changes on top of the other really big plant changes in the previous preview from 2 weeks ago, and this update is absolutely massive. Now, I think just about the final thing that we would need for seed parity to be fully a thing on Minecraft, Java, and Bedrock, well, all they would have to do is work on structures and where they generate and make sure those are the same across different versions, and then they've done it. The seeds would literally be identical. Biome parity. What do you think? What's your favorite biome in the entire game? Tell me all of your thoughts, takes, and opinions down in the comments below. If you haven't yet, now's the time to tap that like button real quick and subscribe. From here on out, it looks like update season is, I guess, forever. It's been me, Waddles, with less than 20 days to go until my birthday. Happy holidays, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.